Up with KREM begins now.
We start with breaking news from overnight. Police are investigating a double homicide in North Spokane.
We here have been on scene all night, so this morning Brandon T. Jones is there. Brandon, what's the latest?
Yeah, good morning, Tim, Nicole. Well, right now, details are fairly slim, but what we do know is that police are investigating a double homicide here at the Center Court Apartments. Again, take a look right here behind me. We'll zoom in on the door that is currently open, but we've seen a good amount of law enforcement presence, Spokane Police Department crews on both sides of this particular apartment. This is at East Koza Drive, again, at an apartment complex in between North Hamilton and North Nevada. Officers did tell us at this point they are currently waiting on a search warrant as they continue this investigation. So again, details are fairly slim, but what we do know is that they are investigating a double homicide. It happened roughly around midnight. And then again, those are the details that we know at this particular time. Still waiting on more information about a suspect, about a why and who as well. Once we gather that information, we'll be sure to continue to keep you updated. For now, though, reporting live here in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon, thank you. We'll check back in with you.
We want to now get to a look at our weather with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, quite foggy outside. What's going on?
Yeah, good morning to the both of you and everybody waking up. It actually got a lot worse in terms of the fog, past like 60 to 90 minutes. So as I've been, getting together our forecast for the day, I noticed that the fog was a little patchy in some spots. But as we've been on air, it's gotten worse and worse by the minute. That had prompted a new dense fog advisory for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, and it is affecting a lot of the I-90 corridor as usual, plus our normal trouble spots like the West Plains out towards Spokane International Airport. Now with 1/8 of a mile visibility, it's about 660 feet or 2 football fields in length, and you wouldn't even be able to see anything beyond that. So very foggy. You will want to take it nice and slow, and remember to turn your low beams on if you have them for your car.
Let's take you outside now with a look at your traffic impact. This is I-90 and Pines in Spokane Valley. So you can see in this area right now, fog looks like it's not as dense as closer to Spokane. We're also seeing a good amount of fog in Coeur d'Alene, and closer towards the airport, visibility is pretty low at this hour. We're going to keep a close eye on traffic throughout the morning, and be sure to be careful and give yourself some extra time as you hit the roads this morning, and plenty of distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. Now let's take you live out to Levi Stadium this morning. Not foggy out there. We are 4 days away from the Super Bowl. Gosh, coming up soon. Of course, Seahawks fans are hoping for redemption against the Patriots. But this morning, there's some injury worries for the Seahawks. So
Drew Andre has been live in the Bay Area all week long. Drew, what can you tell us about this injury?
All right, so it is safety Nick Emanwari. He has been a very important part of this defense. You never like to see an injury Super Bowl week. He injured his ankle in practice yesterday. They were practicing over at San Jose State. Apparently, it happened when he was defending a pass in practice. If you're not familiar with Emanwari, he is a rookie. He was the early second-round draft pick in last year's draft, and immediately he has had a big impact on the Seahawks secondary and part of the success of this top defense in the league. Right now, it's not clear the severity of his injury. Speaking of injuries, remember that oblique injury quarterback Sam Darnold suffered before the divisional round game against the 49ers? Of course, he ended up playing in that and then in the Rams game. He is gradually increasing his throwing, including on Wednesday when the players practice in pads for the first time in 2 weeks. The QB has impressed a lot of doubters so far this season. He said he had a mindset shift years ago that really helped him become a better leader.
It's not always going to be perfect. That's why everybody loves this game, and people call it like some of the best reality TV there is, because, nothing's always perfect, and it's about how can you move on from mistakes to continue to better the team and better yourself. And that's how I've kind of had that mindset, and I feel like I learned a ton from my early years with that.
All right, so we'll see if Darnold will be able to step up in the Super Bowl. As far as Emanwari, reportedly he is having his ankle looked at, and we should have an update on the severity of that injury and get a better idea if he will be good to go come Sunday. The big event today is really non-sports related. There is a press conference that will be headlined by Bad Bunny, of course, the headliner in this weekend's Super Bowl. We're going to have more on that later this morning. We'll send it back to you in Spokane.
Oh, so excited. Drew, any insight on anything else in the halftime show that we can expect at this press conference?
Right, well, we're also going to hear from Washington's own Brandy Carlisle. She will be performing American Beautiful before the show, so she's someone else we're going to hear from. And hopefully, during that press conference from Bad Bunny, we'll get a little more insight on what we could expect to see.
Yeah, thank you, Drew, so much. And of course, you can join us all week as we count down to kickoff. We'll have special coverage of the Seahawks from the Super Bowl all week long on KREM 2+. You can watch every day at 9 a.m. right after Up with KREM, and then live coverage each night at 8 p.m. Download KREM 2+ and watch on your TV for free.
A health alert this morning. A measles case has been confirmed in Stevens County. The Northeast Tri-County Health District says right now there have been no close contacts or public locations with possible exposure. At this time, we do not know the vaccination status of the person infected. This brings the total of measles cases in Washington state to 16, according to the Department of Health. This morning, we're learning the Idaho middle school teacher who was told to take down her "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster has filed a federal lawsuit.
Sarah Inama says House Bill 41, which lawmakers signed into law last year, violates her First Amendment rights. So this here was the poster she had up in her classroom. House Bill 41 bars public schools from displaying anything promoting political, religious, or ideological viewpoints on school property. Court documents show the Lewis and Clark Middle School principal and vice principal asked Sarah to take the poster down. She did take the poster down, but said she put it back up just a few days later.
The Idaho statute violates the First Amendment. The way it violates the First Amendment is it instructs teachers not just in what they can teach, but simply what they can comment on in matters of public concern. And so the fact that students of all races, regardless of the color of their skin, are welcome in a public school system, that's been the law in this country since the mid-50s, since Brown versus Board of Education. And so to tell a teacher that they can't have a poster up that simply states what the law is, we believe violates the First Amendment.
In a statement about the lawsuit, Sarah said, quote, "This lawsuit is about ensuring that teachers in public schools can continue to create safe and inviting classrooms so that all of our students can learn in a positive environment."
New documents obtained by KREM 2 reveal what happened the night a 3-month-old was allegedly killed by her father in Okanagan County. We first told you earlier this week, Mickey Wheatley was found and arrested in Iowa. The killing happened almost 3 years ago. Documents show the baby was inside the home alone while the child's mother and Wheatley were outside. The mother reports Wheatley kept going inside the house to check on the baby and then brought the child outside, saying something was wrong. The baby was life-flighted to Spokane, where she later died. Her injuries were consistent with shaken baby syndrome. Wheatley is facing murder charges when he gets back to Washington state.
A federal judge is ordering U.S. immigration agents in Oregon to stop making arrests without warrants unless there's a real risk somebody will escape. Evidence showed agents arrested people during immigration sweeps without court-issued warrants. The judge called some of those tactics, quote, violent and brutal, and was concerned about due process.
In a matter of hours, we are expected to get another update in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mom of Savannah Guthrie. Today marks day 5 and still no major updates in the case. The Pima County Sheriff's Office sharing they still have not identified a suspect or a person of interest. Savannah Guthrie and her 2 siblings taking to social media acknowledging a possible ransom note.
We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her.
President Trump posted on social media. He spoke to Savannah and says that he is directing all federal law enforcement to be at their complete disposal to help find Nancy.
Montana is asking the federal government to help pay for flooding recovery costs in Libby from those December floods. Our news partner at the Bonner County Daily Bee says preliminary damages from the floods are almost $10 million. State officials visited Libby a couple of weeks ago to help property owners file claims. The Lincoln County Public Health Manager said Montana Disaster Emergency Services submitted a major disaster declaration request on January 15th. If approved, it will allow FEMA money to help with those repairs.
At 6:10, a look at our weather forecast today. Our day planner featuring the fog in the morning, but the warm weather by the afternoon. Not unlike the last couple days where any morning fog actually is going to burn off pretty easily by noon at the very latest here. We are under dense fog advisories until 9 a.m. in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. As for our current temperatures, a bit on the cool side thanks to the stronger temperature inversion at 33 in Spokane and 34 in Spokane Valley. But watch as that warms all the way up to the 50s for most along I-90 and southward today.